talked to Mark Whitten, talked to Brandon Scott, talked to Freddie Gray's attorney Jason. I've been like just one-on-one, busting it with everybody. Like, listen, can we all get to the table? All I want to be is glue. I'm not trying to be nobody's leader or none of that. I'm trying to be glue for a common initiative that could create a pilot for us as a community, like outside of Baltimore, to us as a people, a pilot for us to provide, look what we can do when we actually work together around like causes. All we all want is the betterment for our people. So let's put our differences to the side, our affiliations, our organizations, our religions, and everything else, and say let's empower our people with what we need. So what I've identified, well, not because I identified, what our forefather Malcolm X identified that I agree with, I contend to, is that we suffer from political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. So I believe in that. I believe those three things are our core, what we're hurting. So to combat those things, we need political power, we need economic stimulation, and we need social elevation. So I'm like, all right, well, let's try to bring all those components that we all offer to the table. Everyone do what they do well, and let's try to create something and actually do a Black Wall Street model is what I'm doing. So even taking me to different real estate all throughout the city, where we think are good pockets where I have a fund with Deshaun Jackson from the Redskins and some other guys who put money together to actually buy real assets and build a minority-owned real estate development company, and a hedge fund. So I'm like, I could bring the real estate component economics to the table and say, look, let's find a blighted area in our community that we can rehab, rehabilitate, train homeowners, train people on financial education and budgeting and credit and all those other kind of things at the same time. So they have value and stock in their community and feel better. And statistics show that kids that come from parents of homeowners graduate high school more often, college, less like that teen pregnancy, etc. Right? So we bring that element to the community. Also train on entrepreneurship and train us how to have good Black businesses, right? And we can stimulate our economy ourselves by having a culture of spending money with each other's businesses. Because every time we take our money outside of our community and spend with any other community, no matter of race, we're not racist here, but we do that, they get richer and we stay the poorest in America like we always been. So in order for us to get from poorest in America ever, or least family wealth in America, we have to stimulate ourselves. The only way to do that is take that $1 trillion we spend a year and start spending it in. Right? So I want to create a pilot for that. I think Baltimore's great. I used to hustle here in '98. Like I lived here in Alameda, Cold Spring, so I have like roots here. My daughter's right in Arundel County, Anne Arundel County. I did time in Maryland, from Cumberland, the DOC, the ECI. So like, you know, so I get the culture here. You know, I've been locked up with dudes from Park Heights everywhere, et cetera. Right? My boys here. So I was just like, let's actually implement the Black Wall Street concept of a district, like a actual area where it's us actually affecting us, along with what we always do in our individual whatever constituents and everything else. But let's put some focus, attention, and energy. What I'm talking about today is just on creating a culture of empowerment for us and a pilot that other cities can latch on to, and other parts of this city can latch on to nationally. Like, oh snap, look what we did. We actually created a model for successful Black people united, working together towards common goals and blah blah blah. I think it'll raise the morale, and that's just like I'm trying to bring to the table. It's just that vision of like, let's do it.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Is it doable?
Absolutely doable.
Where are you looking at?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, what area are you looking at?
Yeah, we looked at several. One that has stuck out, and it's the area that is on a street level is controlled by the guy Bones, who was there, who was speaking on the blood organizers and blood gang leaders, et cetera, and some other people. Is what's that? Edmondson.
Like Emerson and Pulaski, Payson, and right near Franklin, like Monroe.
Right there. Like, take that. Synergy.
Definitely wants to get those bought up. So I'm going to introduce you to him. Absolutely. Because he has developers looking at that. Baltimore Street used to be Black owned.
Well, that's way on the other side.
Baltimore.
That's on the other side of Franklin.
Yeah, on the other side.
Like, we're on the other side.
You're on Emerson and Pulaski. I know exactly where you are.
But Baltimore Street isn't.
I know, I'm saying in addition
to
that.
Right.
You're looking at pockets that
Correct.
are
Pockets and districts that
pockets that are going to attract merchants and attract people.
Right.
So Emerson and Pulaski is a good one. Baltimore Street is a good one too, because it used to be in the heyday. Baltimore used to be a place where everyone came to, not just Blacks, but minorities, Polish, Italian. Like, it used to be their area. The drugs, of course, took over, violence took over. So it's not really like it used to be.
Gotcha.
Emerson and Pulaski is good. Like, they have a lot of vacant.
Yeah, it's a lot of land. Yeah, it's tons, right. And so we need a perfect combination of what makes sense for real estate development, but also what makes sense from a social side, community component, right? So it's like, we obviously have to have the community buy-in, because it's not just real estate that we're selling here in this Black Wall Street picture or retail, it's a culture.
So are you selling more like residential or commercial? Or whoever really wants to...
It's everything. It's correct. It's showing, it's us just kind of leading from a visionary development standpoint, and creating an opportunity for residents to, like, so look, my vision when it comes to homeowners is to leave equity in the property, even get fully furnished properties, whatever it is. Make it a situation where we give us the head start, the jump start that we kind of need, right? So people to be stimulated, but outside of just the real estate component, some of that green space or some of the corner lots, do agriculture there, do some farming, training, like really bringing a culture of personal responsibility to our community, but give us the support, you know what I'm saying, from a educational and grants and other kind of standpoint to actually to solve the whole comprehensive problem, and use that as our template for what we can do in other pockets, other places. So it's more than just real estate and home ownership and retail and businesses. Again, it's culture. And so to speak to that, right, so my political or I guess kind of philosophy is getting us in the mind frame of being self-determined and being united, right? So for us to be united as Black people, united, uni meaning one. We have to be like one around something. So my biggest issue with us as that hasn't been really addressed is that we have no identity, no true identity, like that, no common identity. Like we don't know, are we Black, are we African American, are we this? We're named by somebody else. So what we're creating, or what we're picking up, that's been laid out since 1968 by our elders in Detroit, is the concept of us being our own people, in a sense of having a people identity, right? So if you look at every other nationality in America, Irish, like I said, the Irish Americans, Polish Americans, Japanese Americans, Caribbean, Jamaican Americans, whatever, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, everyone, they all have a direct lineage, they all have a direct nation, they all have a flag, they all have an identity. And we're the only ones that can't identify with one thing. We're the only group of people that can't identify with one thing. So our elders have given us one thing to identify with. Started with Marcus Garvey. He's given us something to identify with. We haven't taken a torch in this generation and really ran with it. And that's what we call being new African, because we're not old Africans. We're not the ones over there now. We're a new African people here in America, right? And the reason why I say that as opposed to African American is because, think about this. If Hitler and the Nazis, right, when we had the Jews in internment camps and concentration camps, if Hitler, before they bombed them and captured them, would have said, you know what? I was crazy. What the hell was I thinking? This whole Holocaust thing is wrong. Let's free the Jews from the concentration camps, from their enslavement. You guys are now citizens. I don't think the Jews would have called themselves Jewish Nazis upon their release. And if they did, I think they were freaking crazy for calling themselves a Jewish Nazi. The same people that have oppressed you and held you.
I think they would call themselves like Jewish German Jews or something like that. Don't they call themselves German Jews?
I just know them as Jews, and then different sects.
Right. But no, but I'm saying if the Nazi regime was still the regime that was running Germany, that was their authority, right? Saying that Hitler was still in power, right?
I mean, that's why we're African American. It's a label. It's the 5 categories, and then you fit into one. So you check it off, and that's how you identify.
Right, but we don't have to identify with that, and in order for us to, there's.
I mean, I think that's like one of those cases where people call themselves all kinds of stuff that people call. I think that's like one of the very small, minute things that keeps a lot of us focused on like stuff that really doesn't matter. Call yourself Black or African American or Moor or whatever you know they want to call themselves. I think that's a very small thing in the big scheme of everything.
I think it's a very big thing.
Because it's like at the end of the day, like you can't say that like Black people in America or African or whatever in America don't have culture.
It shouldn't be whatever,
you know what I'm saying? Like we have a lot of rich culture. I think that we are mostly like I could see saying like African, but we have a very rich culture here in this America.
It's a very
And a
divided
lot
culture
of,
though
I
too.
mean, not really, not when you break it down to like basic facts of what culture is, history. We all share somewhat of the same history, foods that we eat, the language, the talk. I mean, just our customs and courtesy. You can go wherever's happening in Baltimore. You can go to Chicago and probably the same thing is is happening.
No, good point. It's not right. It doesn't seem like such a great point, but there's a bigger point actually to that as well, right? So the reason why America gave the Japanese Americans 1.6 billion in reparations after their 2 years in internment camps, and America gave the Native Americans sovereignty, land, and millions of reparations, and the reason why the German Jews gave, Germany gave the Jews 1.6 billion reparations and Israel and land, and why America chose that trust account, why their human rights got restitution for the human rights violations, is because, this is fact, I asked the elders who actually been to world courts in Supreme Court several times on our case for reparations. The reason why we haven't gotten any reparation aid or restoration as black people is because the World Courts, United Nations, doesn't consider us a people. We're not looked at as a people by the world, right? We're just a race. We're not a people, a nation, a people, or anybody that can. So only a nation of people can get reparations from a nation of people. So African Americans, this term black Negroes, we've gotten $0 for a 300-year Holocaust and enslavement that we couldn't read, we couldn't write, we couldn't own businesses or land. That's a long time. Then 100 years after that, of Jim Crow, of segregation and KK and lynchings. That's a long time to oppress the people. Plus what's happening today, I won't even get to the argument of are we being oppressed today, because that's still fact. So you have all this oppression, but every other race of people or nation of people can get restitution for those crimes, even land and everything else. But us get zero, right? One, that's unfair, but why is it unfair? Why can't we get it? It's because we're not looked at as a people. So it's like, all right, well, how do we become a people? Human rights law says that if a group of people are self-determined and acknowledge themselves as something in a critical mass, in one other country in the whole entire world says that's a people, if Russia says, hey, black people, they're new Africans. If a Caribbean nation, an African nation says, hey, black people, they're new Africans, because we identify ourselves as new Africans, we then can have a seat at Human Rights Court in the United Nations as an observer and bring our case for reparations, restoration to the court for restitution for our human rights violations.
So what nation do we belong to?
Republic of New Africa.
And where is that land?
Does not have to be land. All we have to do is claim land, which our elders have already claimed.
We already stopped
5 states:
earlier,
Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and South Carolina. 5 states that are owed us. All we have to do is claim it. That's human rights law. And then we go to world court to at least sit at the table, postured like we should be, as a people, as a nation. And maybe we don't get 5 states. Maybe we don't get no states. Maybe we get 1 state. Maybe we get whatever it is we're gonna do. But we start the conversation. We're at the table. We're not even at the table yet. Can't even get to the table. All because we can't identify ourselves as one small thing. That's human rights law, fact. So that's my bigger play actually. It's not just like saying it's just for the look of it. It's because the only way we're in this condition that we're in as a people, as you drive through Baltimore, as you drive through Chicago, you drive through Detroit, Patterson, New Jersey, Camden, New Jersey, Brooklyn, Bronx, Watts, Compton, St. Louis, New Orleans. I mean, every hood is the same. Everywhere we hurt and we dying, and it's all because of the oppression of the people that brought us here. And they redlined on maps and said, put 4 million freed Africans. They didn't know what to do with this. Congress is in law. Congress tried to send us back to Africa. They didn't have the budget to do it. So what do we do with the Africans? Right? We just unenslaved them. What do we do with them? So you make us workers, so we pay tax dollars and stimulate the government. Great, all that. But then they drew maps. Literally, it's all fact. They drew red lines on maps and said, put them here in concentrated areas. They put poor, uneducated people in concentrated areas, created a prison system that locks them up for committing crimes, which was the 13th Amendment. The Africans, or 13th Amendment says of our Constitution that the freed, or the Africans are freed from enslavement unless they commit a crime. Then
they go back into slavery.
Working for free in prisons, as we know, or for pennies a day. It's in our laws. And then when you look at the Emancipation Proclamation, the word emancipation means a transfer of one authority to another. It doesn't mean liberation, doesn't mean independence, doesn't mean freedom. We were unenslaved, but we're still under the same authority, the same people that was our slaves. So it's deep. It is what it is. But it's facts.
It's real deep.
But we can't just say because it's so big and so it's deep that we don't address it. But I don't believe I'm not built like that. I don't just wave the white flag and like you owe me and you owing me and I'm just gonna go with it. Like no.
So who came up with the term New African?
A group of our elders in 1968. They came up with Republic of New Africa. They made a claim. There's a constitution. There's the pledge to the flag. There's a creed. There's a Declaration of Independence.
So that's not the RBG flag?
A lot of people represent it. Marcus Garvey had his